Hey there! Today we're going to be talking about a pen that was sent to me by Timo, and in fact this pen was also sent to me months and months ago by another person from Hong Kong. I had shot a review, but I thought it would be good to revisit it, just to see if I still agreed with everything I said at that point. So I watched it again and I thought, yeah, well, in fact my opinion is pretty consistent, but let's talk about it once again. Also, I can now shoot this video in high res, which I couldn't do before. So, this is the Hero 395. Yes, it's another Chinese pen, but it has one interesting feature. It has a nib that definitely offers line variation. Some would call it semi-flex, maybe a touch beneath semi-flex. It's not even close to vintage flex, but it will give you line variation. So, let's cover the parts of the pen. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. Let's start with the finial of the pen. Not much to see there. Top of the cap is just metal. Then we have the clip. Clip is fairly uneventful. It has the Hero logo on there, and you see the nice texture of the pen, which is quite cool. I think it's a brass body, and the clip is very tight, but it will work. It's not so tight that you can't open it. It's just not very springy. Then you have a center band, which says Hero, as well as 395. And then we continue with the barrel, and then you end in this sort of weird button-like thing at the end of the barrel. Okay, the cap slides off and posts securely. Timo was afraid I would not like the inner cap. And yes, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but yes, no, I probably can't. It is another one of those plastic white inner caps, which you see in a lot of Chinese pens, and the reason I don't like them so much is that they crack fairly easily. It's very thin plastic, and if you post the pen, then you can crack that plastic very easily. However, on this pen, the inner cap doesn't start up to about that level. And that's very good, because that means that you can post it and only hit the metal of the cap. And now it's very securely posted, no issues whatsoever. The section is tapered, ends in a little lip, and that's pretty much it. You see a bit of a step down, hasn't really bothered me. This is a fairly small section. I don't know how I can see that, but my fingers completely cover it, and after a while it can get a little slippery in my experience. And there is a step down, and you will feel it. You will feel it. It doesn't really bother me, but you will feel it. Okay, here you have that nice, it's a simple two-tone nib, but I think it looks quite cool, and as I said, it definitely offers line variation. There's a very simple feed, and that's pretty much it for the pen. Alright, cap clicks back on. What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, I like the texture. I think it has a very nice texture that you don't see so much, that definitely adds something to it and makes it a little bit more interesting than a lot of Chinese pens I think that you see out there. The flattened cap and barrel ends I think are quite cool. The pen is relatively small, which makes for a very portable pen. You can easily put it in a shirt pocket. It won't stick out because it's not an oversized pen. What do I not like about? Oh, and final thing I will say is that posting, the secure posting, is very nice, because without it, for me, it would definitely be on the small side, whereas posted I think is a very nice size, and it's not even super top heavy because it posts relatively deeply. So that's quite cool. Okay, what do I not like about it? Well, it is a Chinese pen. The nib is maybe a little bit scratchy, but it's definitely not terrible. The line variation, of course, is super nice, but yes, it is a steel nib, and it's not vintage 14K gold, so don't expect a huge amount of line variation. But it's nice. It's a nice feature that they made this nib a little springy. And I can, because I have two, I can tell you that that's the case on all of these pens. At least the two I have both have it. So it's not an anomaly that one pen happens to be springy. I like that. What do I not like? Well, the small size, for me, I like a bigger pen, but of course that's personal preference. What I will say is that yes, it is a Chinese pen. And for example, at this end thing, I'll see how close I can get to the camera. You see you get this weird nice end button, but if you turn it around, you see there's actually, it looks like a gunk of molten metal on top of it there. That's the thing with these Chinese pens. The quality control isn't always superb, and it's these little things that you will notice that probably could be a little bit better. But Then again, you don't pay hundreds of dollars or euros for this anyway, so I think that's something you'll have to take in your stride. In all, I think these are decent pens. I think you need to see it in action now, but let's take a few measurements first. It weighs 30 grams. As to size, capped, it's 133 millimeters. Uncapped, it's 122 millimeters. Section diameter at the narrowest point is about 7.5 millimeters, and at the widest point it's about 9 millimeters. That's all there's to it. We're going to see how this pen writes. I hope this was useful. Timo, as well as the other person who sent me one, thanks a lot, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we go. Writing with the Hero $3.95. The nib, I was checking that out, doesn't have any markings. I would say this is a good fine or a somewhat skinny medium. The ink is Visconti Sepia, and that's all there's to it. So let's do a bit of writing. Writing is smooth, flow is good, as you can see, no skipping. Let's put that to the test a bit and do some fast writing to see if we can get any skips. That looks pretty good to me. I don't see any skipping. Works well. What about flex? Well, that's why this pen starts to be pretty interesting. Because for a Hero pen like this, it's quite springy. You see quite some line variation here and there. Now, I wouldn't call this a full flex pen. At best, this is semi-flex, and some may even go so far as to say, well, it's just fairly expressive springiness. But in the end, what you get is some pretty decent line variation for a pen that is not extremely expensive. So I would say that is quite nice. As to wetness, notice how I hadn't put it to the paper for a short while and it wrote straight away. No startup issues. I would say wetness is there. It's not the wettest of pens, but it's yeah, reasonably wet. As you can see, that was still wet, so it's clearly depends a little bit on how much flex you add. This being a wetter line, obviously. So that's all there's to it. The Hero 395. I think this is a pretty cool pen. I thank the person who sent it to me. I like it. This is one I will keep. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.